First, we want to check in with one of our favorite congressmen, Greg Steube. Good morning, sir. Thank you for your service. And even though Memorial Day recognizes those who have fallen in service of our country, we know that you experienced loss while you were participating and being part of our armed services. So we thank you for that.
Thank you, and it's an honor to be with you today.
Yeah, look, disasters happen. And, you cover my old neck of the woods. I went to high school, Charlotte High School in Punta Gorda, Florida. Saw the high school completely destroyed by Hurricane Charlie, and my sister's house, 75% destroyed. Know all about it. You've been very proactive. You're working on this disaster relief bill, and Floridians need it. But I can't believe they haven't had relief already. So what happened, and what are you doing to address it?
Yeah, it's insane. So I filed the bill when the Congress started, 2 years ago, right after. So Hurricane Ian hit in, September, October timeframe. And then that following January, the new Congress started. And the 118th, I filed this disaster relief bill right away. It took a year 8 months to get it through the committee. Then the committee put it part of a tax package that got sent out earlier this year. And I've just been sick and tired of my own leadership telling me no. And there's a procedural maneuver that we can use on the floor called a discharge petition, where if 218 members of the floor sign a discharge petition, it forces the legislation to the floor. And after getting ignored for well over a year now to bring this bill as a standalone bill on the floor to be voted on by my own leadership, I said, let's just do a discharge petition. We got it signed, 218 votes in like a week and a half. It's only the third time or second time this has happened in like 30 years to get a discharge successfully signed on the floor. The leadership then put it on as a suspension bill. Tuesday of this week, it passed by 382 to 7.
Wow.
Very strong bipartisan support. Stuff that doesn't pass the House with that type of margin.
We know.
And now it goes to the Senate. So Senator Scott's going to bring it up on what's called UC unanimous consent agenda when we get back from the Memorial holiday break. So that first week of June. The rumor is that Senator Wyden, a Democrat out of Oregon, is going to object because he wants the entire tax package to pass. So I'm trying to work with my Democratic colleagues in the House to encourage him to let it go. This is obviously extremely bipartisan. Americans have not gotten any form of disaster relief since 2020. And all this bill does is allow individuals who are in a presidentially declared natural disaster area to deduct their expenses from that natural disaster from their taxes for that tax year. So Hurricane Ian in my district in 2022, when this passes, you will be able to file an amended return with your expenses from that hurricane and be able to deduct those from your taxes. It's the least that we could do to help Americans out.
Yeah, that's late in coming, but better late than never. And I understand this also includes like the derailment in Ohio. Those people haven't gotten relief?
Nope. Train derailment, the California wildfires, the Maui wildfires, the floods you've just recently seen in Texas, the tornadoes across the Midwest. This would cover every presidentially declared natural disaster since 2020. So there's 47 states that will actually be able to take advantage of this. That's why there's so much bipartisan support for it. It's not a big cost. It's not an appropriations bill. It's a tax reduction. You'll be able to deduct your expenses from your taxes. So we can give $200 billion with no pay for to Ukraine, and that's important for our country. But we're going to ignore Americans that have been affected by a natural disaster. It's crazy to me that I've had to do all these maneuvers to try to get the bill passed. But hopefully Senator Wyden will see the benefit of this and not want to play politics and hold it up 2 weeks from now when Senator Scott calls it up to the floor.
It is interesting when Trump talks about putting America first, and under a Biden administration, it's almost like Americans come last. In a lot of cases, they do.
100%.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this, and I know Congresswoman Kat Cammack also is on this committee, the weaponization of government with this recent acknowledgement or whatever of all the emails that were destroyed and all the communications that were going on. This is like Fauci's number 2, sat before a committee and stuff like that. I mean, what are your thoughts when, a group of so-called scientists or doctors can have so much power and they actually got together to shut up any voices that disagreed?
Not only so much power, which I believe their actions should be criminal. Because they wouldn't allow correct scientific information to be put out, and they push this, vaccine was safe and effective, which we know now it wasn't. And science is proving that. I just saw statistics of in children how bad it is for heart disease and all of these other things. But they should be held accountable for that. And also, I've signed on to a number of different bills. All these people, Fauci included, were able to make money in investments with all these things that they were using tax dollars to invest in. I mean, Fauci's made millions of dollars off these different pharmaceutical companies in all of these deals that he, in the position that he's in, has been able to profit from. And how that's legal, I have no idea. But we should, when hopefully Trump wins in November, we flip the Senate and we hold the House, all these people should be held accountable.
Yeah, I mean, that's a definition of conflict of interest. I mean, and you're stating public health directives, and you stand to benefit on the other end by the selling of these pharmaceutical products. It is, I agree with you. I think it's absolutely criminal. And in the weaponization, well, it's not just limited to that. Of course, we saw under Lois Lerner what the IRS was doing to Tea Party folks a few years back. And we had the FBI communications with that Agent Strzok and the kind of malicious stuff that he said when it came to Donald Trump. And I love how the left tried to position him as, he's just, one of many FBI agents. No, he was handling two of the biggest investigations of the time, including the Hillary email scandal.
We have never seen in the history of this country the weaponization and the politicization of our administration. And it's not just the FBI and the DOJ, which the examples of that are crazy. We just had a hearing in weaponization this week where ATF showed up at a guy's house who didn't even know he was under investigation for anything, didn't have a criminal background whatsoever, and they kicked the door in. And if somebody kicked the door in at my house at 6 a.m., instead of saying, hey, the police are here, we'd like to talk to you, if you kicked the door in at my house at 6 a.m., I would probably meet you with a firearm too. And ATF killed this guy. And they could have communicated with him. Mm-hmm. They could have talked to him. They could have talked to his lawyers. They didn't do any of that because they have weaponized these different agencies against their political agenda. They don't want people selling firearms. They want to shut down firearms dealers, and they're using the heavy hand of the government to do it. You see it with the student loan payments that are completely illegal. You see it with the IRS. You see it with every agency under Joe Biden. And I think it's telling because they're worried that Trump's going to win in November. So they're trying to cram as much garbage through these agencies through rulemaking as they can, knowing it's unconstitutional, knowing it violates the rights of Congress and the separation of powers because those are things that Congress has to pass. They don't care. They're going to do it and try to push their agenda on the American people before Trump takes office. Yeah,
they love regulations, and they love to use that as a weapon. There's no doubt about it. Hey, real quick, I'll make this quick. Hunter Biden clearly did some illegal things. He didn't fill out that ATF form properly for background check, et cetera, okay? But what does it all matter when, in the end, his dad's going to pardon him? How much energy should we put into it all?
Well, I think it's important that the American people see how deep the Biden crime family corruption is. And obviously, all of this relates to Joe. Hunter wouldn't be doing what Hunter's doing if it wasn't for the access to his father. Hunter wouldn't be making money. James wouldn't be making money. We also have proof that Joe actually got money from the Chinese Communist Party through Hunter's different LLCs. But this is all about Joe and his position as vice president and his access to our government. And so I think we're continuing to show the American people the deep level of corruption and the upside-down judicial system that we have under Joe Biden, where you're going to go after Trump for nothing, for a crime where a statute of limitations, not even a crime, but where statute of limitations have told him we're going to make stuff up, where you have Biden, Hunter, and his entire family that have violated crime after crime after crime. The latest one this week was Hunter lied under oath when we deposed him in Congress.
Yep.
So we're going to do a criminal referral to the Justice Department. I'm sure they're not going to take that up. But you're right. I actually was just talking to my wife about it this morning. They're going to lay out all these crimes, charge him for all this stuff. Trump's going to win in November. And then on the way out of the White House, Joe Biden's going to pardon himself for all of this stuff, Hunter for all of this stuff, James Biden for all of this stuff. and they'll be able to go and continue to steal the millions of dollars that they used Joe's position to get. And after they pardon him, the Trump administration and the Trump DOJ won't be able to go after them for all these crimes they committed.
I think you've laid it out pretty accurately. I only like the part where Trump wins.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Congressman Greg Steube, we appreciate what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Thanks for communicating with us, and enjoy the weekend, and we shall never forget.
Yeah, you too. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.